Okay. Bismillah wa salatu wa salam ala Rasulullah. Allahumma shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatan min lisani yafqahu qawli. Okay, well, first, before I get started with my presentation, I have to thank you all for continuing to be here even after lunch. That's very good. That's one. Two, I have to also thank the people that organized this event, this summit. They've done a great job. And also I want to thank my colleagues that they joined me today in Riyadh. And also I want to say that our Sumu Al-Ahid Al-Hussein, he had engaged Bint Al-Saif from Riyadh. So today, within our presentation, we had brought with us some sweets that we were, celebrating this great ties that always had brought Jordan and Saudi Arabia even closer. So now, let's get started. I am the director for digital transformation. I've been working in banks, for a while. More than 15 or close to 15 years. So, platform for AI, connected customers. So I'm going to be talking or going through a few stops. I will talk about something that Mr. Muhammad at the panel had mentioned, the data, the governance, and how the importance of data. I will touch on that. And then I will talk about how would you go about building a platform for information platform so you can apply artificial intelligence. And then what is the big data? What we want in big data. Big data is huge. Data is huge. And then hopefully within a very small image, a slide, I will say how the AI bank, very high level business architecture will look like. Within the journey of my presentation, I will talk about a few use cases. Some of them are the next best offer or next best action. It's an AI flavor, AI aided business case, the fraud detection. And I want to, instead of these, which is sentiment analysis, customer churn, lifetime value, I'll talk about probably profitability. Because you as banks, you need to be profitable. And there are a lot of other fintechs and tech fins are stealing some of your, profits. All right. By the way, it's not mentioned in here, but the very last slide, I have food for thought. I put in some new ideas, I hope they are new to you, that you probably want to take a look at and consider in your journey in serving your customers. All right, I was talking also to the gentleman close to our booth, Muhammad. And the size of data in 2012 that we generate humans on a daily basis was less than a gigabyte. This is by IBM. In 2025, which is 2 years from today, The Economist, which is also reputable, they're saying that one person output will be close to 62 gigabytes. So why did I talk about this? Because I really want you feel how much data you can be consuming, dealing with, and probably harvesting too. We're not going to be harvest 62 gigabytes for every customer you have, but this is potentially how much data you're going to be dealing with. Something I didn't mention, which is within the presentation, I do have questions, and I would love to have your input. I would love to have your thoughts on the correct answer. Probably will be right after this slide. This slide, PwC, of course, well known, they're saying that dealing with data, there are challenges. Some of these challenges are complex data infrastructure, limited data quality, and I want to emphasize the quality framework, and limited continuous monitoring. Does this have a pointer? No. So the problem with continuous monitoring, if you don't continuously monitor your data, you will fall behind again, and you will go through the exercise of cleansing your data and organizing or cleaning or optimizing your data every so often. So you got to have a continuous monitoring, and that's key. And then the last challenge on this study by PwC was the limited visibility and transparency. Now, these are the challenges. Based on our experience, by the way, experience means 20 years only serving banking sector, by the way. I come from a company that had been, or has been, the proper word, serving the banking sector for 20 years. The observations that we have, I'm not going to talk about all of them, but we'll say in the third bullet on the screen, it says almost all banks. We said close to 90%. Almost all banks have data quality issues. Why is this important? Because you cannot have proper insights, you cannot have artificial intelligence, you cannot have statistical model, you cannot have anything if your data is having issues. So these are our observations. And another thing that I want to touch on, key data elements. Key data elements are certain fields within your data sources that are important for you to either be in compliance or even offer services. The key data element, for example, for a solution FATCA is different than a key data element. They could be combined. You could have a same data element that is important, a key data element that is important for FATCA, but is different than AML for anti-money laundering. But in other words, the key data elements are very important to be identified, and they're very important to be monitored and always cleaned up from the rust that it carries on through the life of your customer in your bank. All right, here's what I call something that can help you lay the grounds for your platform if you want to do data quality. I'm going to start from the steps from left to right. Data auditor, then I talked about data optimizer, then the classification and segmentation, then KYC monitor. In the data auditor, I want you to think of it as a metadata. This is your mapping checklist saying, for example, I'm dealing with one of the banks that we had served had 38 different data sources. So the 38 different data sources that I want to feed them into our platform and give them whatever statistical or whatever profitability, whatever next best offer, I have to map, right, any new data within the 38 systems, because these 38 systems are continuously being updated, monitored, added, parameterized, all of these, right? So we have to have some sort of a mapping of your metadata into whatever platform we're having, all right? Okay, now the data optimizer, and I want you to think of data optimizer as your watchdog, because it's a way that you can put condition and rules, dynamic condition and rules, saying what happens if this data field changes, what happens if Jamal moves from one segment today to a new segment. So the data optimizer looks over certain, key data elements and continuously watches or tells you or give you some sort of an indicator that something changed. I'll give you a simpler example. Assuming today I live in Jordan and in Amman, and I want to move to Aqaba. I live in Riyadh and I want to move to Jeddah. My move, change of address, change of telephone number, change of whatever happens within my KYC profile, this has got to be captured and has got to inform your people at the bank, your customer relations officers, that something took place, something changed, whether it's real change or someone had mistakenly changed, for example, my telephone number, or mistakenly changed my address or my workplace. So that's the data optimizer. And before I move to the other two steps, whenever you want to talk about artificial intelligence, you want to talk, the huger your sample, the tighter you should have your bounds. In other words, you cannot, you have to always think of your model that the huger that sample, I have to be careful with, to find anomalies, I have to be careful with these bounds that I have. Okay, the other two steps, classification and segmentation. I have to always watch the classes and the segment of my customers, and because that will be all of your offers, all of your experience, all of the products that you're going to be offering this customer is dependent mainly on your segment and class. The KYC monitor. Okay, I want to pause here and give you an example. In some places that I travel, I go from maybe 3 countries or 4 countries in less than 48 hours. So because of my work type at the bank, I use my Visa card. So what I do, I'm charging, I go to the business lounge at Airport 1, and then at the same day, I will be staying at a different hotel in country number 2, and an example of what my transaction will look like. Now, because I am in where I am in terms of my job and KYC at the bank, this is normal activity. But if I am a teacher or a lecturer during a semester, during the exam period, for example, these 4 transactions or 3 transactions could be an indicator that this is a fraudulent, right? So the KYC monitor is a way that it will tell you, first understand your customer before you can say this is what type of a transaction. Is that an opportunity to sell this customer a new product? Or is this a fraudulent that I have to stop it? And it could be only indicated by these 3 or 4 transactions that took place in less than 48 hours. So that's an example of when I want to do proper monitoring of my KYC, I have to watch for these indicators. This person, because of his job, because of his profile, it's normal for him or her to do these kind of transactions within 24 hours. But that lecturer is not normal, so I have to verify it and have to check on it. That's first question. Now, Google wanted to predict when the flu season will start, right? They wanted to predict when that flu season will start based on a question that says, how long does a flu last? People, when they get sick, they want to know what happens with them, right? How long am I going to stay sick? How long, blah, blah, blah. So whatever. So the options that we have, we're saying to predict. Now remember, anything prediction means there's an AI flavor in it, right? So please show your hands if you believe, أرجوكم يعني. Show your hands if you believe that to predict the flu season, Google implemented 10 million possible search terms. 10 million, or 20 million, or 50 million. Who thinks it's 10 million, or 20, or 30? 10 million, who thinks it's 10 million? No one. 20 million. Anyone? I need just, we got just back from lunch. We want to get moving a little bit. Okay, it's 50 million. You said 50 million. Oh, thanks, good. 50 million different possible search terms just to predict when the flu season will start. Can you imagine? 50 million search terms Google implemented within their model, AI model, to predict when the flu season will start. So why did I give you that? I want you to think, whenever you have a model, you want to apply a model to perform some sort of artificial intelligence, and I'll get to the end of what I recommend, or what we recommend. Now, I promised you that there will be some sort of a very high-level business arc. From an experience, 20 years, 485 projects, by the way, Pio-Tech had undertaken. Let's say we agreed that we want some of the big data. We want to understand how you feel, how you behave, right? We bankers, we banks want to understand our customers. So we want to talk about a little bit of big data. My big data will, up top, will have to go through my data quality governance, regardless of what platforms you're using, but it has got to go there because I don't want to open a faucet for 62 gigabytes per person. Let it be, because we're not in 2025, we're still in 2023, let it be now, what? 40 gigabytes? So I wanna, when I open that faucet of big data or social network, interactions, I want it to go through my filters. So after it gone through my filters, I have to also get my very valuable data about every customer, every transaction, every KYC I have. So that's in the bottom. Now I put it within what? A blender. My blender is uses data lakes, data warehouse, and then goes through utilities in order to come in with, apply the proper model for every one of these. If I want churn, if I want to know when are you leaving me, that's churn analysis. What is the sentiment, what we feel about your bank. So then I go through the, applying the proper model to get these kind of, let's say, experiences or products. Right, another example, I have 2 other slides, or 3. Now, number 1, number 2, and number 3. Number 1 is maximum heart rate. Maximum heart rate. For all of you that have Apple Watch, you've probably monitored your heart rate at a point. So the maximum heart rate is 220 minus age, minus your age, gives you the maximum heart rate. Now, why did I example this? Because that's a one parameter, they call it one parameter model. That's a model. A model is a pattern. Remember, from our schools, they used to give us some numbers, and they will tell you, recognize the pattern, and then write the equation. Whoever, I am an engineer. I studied engineering, so they used to give us these line of numbers, and they will tell you, recognize the pattern, and then write that equation. And it's normally linear, simple, normally. So this is the linear equation that will tell you what is your maximum heart rate. Now, after observations, which is, looking over model after model, and remember I said the bigger is your sample, the tighter is your bounds. Do you remember I said that at the beginning? These are the tighter bound. It's 0.7 of your age. So they realized that because we took a bigger model, a bigger sample, my bounds are now tighter, which is 0.7. It used to be age, but now it's 7/10 of your age will give you a better maximum heart rate model, AI. Okay, now the third one is the price of a house. At least in the United States, they say 10,000, right? That's a $10,000 plus 125 times the square footage of your house plus 26,000 times the number of bathrooms. That will give you the price of your house. That's a pattern also. That's a model, right? So now I want you to think of, if I want to do profitability, if I want to do a next best offer, tell me, because most of you are bankers, I have to think parameter, the age, and I have to think the area and place of residency. I also was talking to a gentleman, he said, depending on where I live, that indicates, something about my socio-economical class, right? So area, place of residency, type of residency, gender, marital, not marital, gender, whether man, woman, husband, position, employer, economic sector, years of experience, years and current employer, other income sources, and behavior in red. And what other products are you using? So all of this, I want you to think of a model that you want to put in an equation that will have all of these parameters, and every parameter probably, because it depends on how important that parameter, you have to associate what? A multiplier, right? The multiplier for our maximum heart rate happened to be 0.7 of your age. So imagine and these, by the way, these are not all of them. If you think that the 13 parameters that were put in here are all of the parameters that you have to handle when you think of a model for artificial intelligence, you're a little bit off. So these are a sample of the parameters that you have to handle when you want to talk about what next best offer, or if you want to predict what my profitability is. But we're just giving you, a teaser here. All right. Now, why is it artificial intelligence now? Why are we going, everyone is going for artificial intelligence? Because they think there are 4 main, areas that contributed in facilitating artificial intelligence. Massive data, we do have now. We're close to, we said, by 2025, we will have 62 gigabytes for each person in data. So we do have massive data, and we do have massive models, ready models, by the way. We're not talking about models that you have to now today come up with in order to think of profitability or think of, next best offer. Feature engineering, that's key. By the way, age, that's a feature. And feature engineering, it's what that age, what is the multiplier? Just think of calculus. What is the multiplier associated with age? That's a feature. And trial and error. I'll give you an example of trial and error really quick. Today, if I come into Bank Al Arabi في الأردن, Bank Al Arabi will say, Jamal, he sends me messages, say, Jamal, if you're interested in your purchase to create an installments on it, it's a big purchase. It pushes that message. Now, if I am interested, I will say yes. If I'm not, I will just ignore that message. So this is kind of a trial and error, right? If I come into the bank today, they know me. They will tell me, Jamal, are you interested in buying a jet ski? Why did you say jet ski? Because Jamal on social, we said behavior, right? Because Jamal on his Instagram and Facebook, he keeps saying what? He keeps posing himself on, being on a jet ski. So trial and error saying it will verify, right, that this is the proper product or not. Okay. 2 more. Now, please, I need to see some hands. Google, if you send a picture, if you load a picture, it can tell you what that picture is and put a label on that picture, on that image. That's Google again. Now, the number of parameters in Google's model, parameters, we understood what parameters are, right? What are the number of parameters in order to identify, recognize, and label that image? 200,000 parameter, 400,000 parameter, or 700,000 parameter? So who thinks it's 200,000? 200,000, anyone? No one. 400? 700? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's 400. I tricked you because that question was the most, 50,000. Now 50 million. 50, I forgot. But no, it's 400,000 parameter. Imagine Google put an equation that has 400,000 parameter in order to say what is that image and what to put a label on that image. It's a house, it's a dog. What kind of a dog? It's a leopard. It's I don't know the names of dogs. It's whatever. So put a label. It's a dog, and what type of a dog? That's what it means to put a label on that dog. So 400,000 parameters. All right, so what we think? We think you have to have confidence in your data. If you don't have confidence in your data, we believe you cannot have AI, you cannot have even insights, you cannot have anything. You have to have confidence in your AI. There are tools today And there are processes today to maintain, to have that confidence level elevated. Data quality. Data quality. If I don't continuously monitor my data, today I performed my data quality governance and everything. In 5 years, you will fall behind. So you want to keep monitoring that data and remove that rust off of it. Ready models do not come up when I said next best offer or profitability, and I showed you 13 parameters. Do not attempt to write the parameters or think of a model. There are out there models ready to consume. Just feed your data and it will give you the next best offer. Feed that. Someone already did that homework for you. So when you want to implement AI or whatever, don't reinvent the wheels. Just do that. All right. Food for thought. This is my last slide. We are in banks, and that's a problem. We're so focused on products, we sometimes forget the experience. And people now, banks are all similar, products are all similar. We are after that experience. And not any kind of experience, because we're targeting millennials and generation X and Y. It has to be technology embedded experience. Trust me on this. All of you've been dealing with so many banks at a given point. So the bank that has the best, sweetest experience is the bank that wins your business. So don't think of products, think of experience. Biometrics. I said that to some of the people that visited our booth. Biometrics, if today I can travel, leave country and come to a country with an e-passport, no one is checking on me. I go by electronic gates. No one stamped the blah, blah. If that is happening, why can't you, central banks respectfully, say, come on, you can digitally, completely digitally onboard your customers. My telephone, no, sorry. My telephone, I just remembered that I gave it to my colleague. My telephone has better technology already in recognizing that it's Jamal. So biometrics, go for that. Friction and frictionless. I don't have to do transactions in branch. I don't have to come to the branch. It's frictionless life. Or I can say, is not of a great value. There is value for me to interfere with my human people, but COVID had taught us that we don't have to do, that friction life anymore. So especially in banks. Gartner is saying, before I talk about Gartner, behavioral data, why can't we have ranking and credit scoring and customer classification based on their behavior on the social network? Why can't we? We only have the classification, segmentation, and risk assessment only based on statistical, not behavioral. And I don't want to give an example that took with me because they told me time. Gartner is saying an increase from 2022 to 2023 in 2.4% increase in, this 2.4 translates to $4.5 trillion in IT spending. Now, I said caution because I want you to understand, banks, when you allocate your budget, please do not allocate what you pay for AML and compliance. Do not allocate that as IT spending. You're being unfair to your IT people. You should segregate what you're spending for IT transformation versus what you're spending for compliance. Because you have to buy risk assessment solution or AML or whatever, IFRS 9, because you have to pay, and it's a technology solution, that is not your IT spending. IT spending should be something in digitization, in experience. You should segregate that. And that's it. These are us. This is the people. This is Dania, our marketing coordinator. Nazmi Safarini, he's sitting right here. He's our director of product development. And I am Jamal. Thank you. It's the end. So but meet us. I wanted to just show you we're here. Shukran. Shukran. Oh, I have a trophy. Yeah, for the picture, yes. Thank you so much. This is a great honor, wallahi, for being here in Riyadh, for standing in front of you. It's a great honor. Thank you so much. Shukran, barakallah fiki.